She's in Barbados.
Is she really? No.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't put it past her. She's always like, oh. So.
Wasn't she just there like last week?
Yeah, that's why I'd be a little surprised if she was in Barbados today, but
probably. But she just posted, what was it, yesterday or today about the Cavs game?
Yeah. I mean, she's been like, hey, did you get the email? So she's obviously trying to.
I'll resend it. I
didn't see it in my email, but I just typed in your link, which is cool.
Yeah, I just copied and pasted your both your emails, all three of your emails. There it is. Well, either way, quick intro. Dr. Serv Wahan of Washington. Dr. Erin Sheffield. You don't have your location on your Instagram, by the way.
Oh, I don't.
Me? Erin.
Dr. Sheffield, yeah. No, where are you?
I'm in Quincy, Illinois.
Illinois.
Very glamorous, rural Illinois.
I thought you were in Iowa.
Iowa ties.
Okay, got it.
Moved from Iowa's my second home. Moved from Iowa, close to Iowa, not in Iowa. I said, "Are you on?" She said, "I think so." What does that mean?
No, she's not on.
I don't see you. We are waiting for you. 3
oral surgeons and 1 resident tonight. This is exciting.
We are almost one.
Let me give a little background. Well, soon to be 4 of us, but right now all 3 of us, we met at AAOMS. With Dr. Wahan prior, we had done a podcast back in, I think it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, tens of views. I had tens of views. It's good.
I get happy with 1 view. I got to be honest.
Oh, I don't care.
It only takes 1. That's right.
It only takes 1. I'm sure you guys had this problem. I got the little red marks from the tape in the OR today. I guess I used the silk tape or something without even realizing. Is she messaging you? I didn't see anything from her.
She said, "Okay, I don't me on what I'm on." I don't know what that means. I guess I need to download something.
Did you have to download?
I didn't. It came right here.
It should just be a web link.
All right. How are you both doing today?
Doing good. Back at work after 5 days off.
From the flooding, or is this a different?
No. Our schedule is like that. So we have like 4 locations and like 5 surgeons now. And so there's 4 partners right now. And we have 1 associate. We just got a good guy from Parkland a couple months ago after graduation. And so he's on the associate schedule essentially. And then the partner schedule is a little bit different. And so we just had to revamp our schedule a little bit for the 5th person. And so now it's like last week that was my 2-day work week. So I work like Monday and Tuesday, and then you have like the rest off. And then, or was it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Something like that. You work like 2 days, and then you have like the rest of the week off until you start call that Wednesday, which is today for me. So I start call now for a week. And then I'll be on for, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I think I have Thursday, Friday off next week. And then so just it's a pattern, but it's not like a super easy to remember pattern. But everyone has the same pattern. So it's nice. So you probably work like, I would say maybe 15 days a month, 16 days a month as a partner in our practice. And so it's not bad.
And the associate works every day?
No. And they're like,
valid question.
I would say there's some 5-day weeks, there's some 4-day weeks, there's actually might be some 3-day weeks in there too. So it's not like a killer DSO schedule or anything. We're still private. Yeah.
Pretty great. Dr. Erin, what's your work day week? What's your work schedule looking like?
I usually work 3 days a week.
That's nice.
It's very nice. I like it. I try to be very productive on the days that I'm there, and I try to be home and present with my kids on the days that I'm not, and just get caught up on all the life things that you can't do when you're at work. I like the flexibility because if I have other things like OR days, I can find the time easier to get in because I'm booked till January. So it's kind of hard to get in some of these bigger cases otherwise. So like this morning I did a all-on case in a mandible today. So I just went in and pounded that out for a couple hours and got that done and had an awesome day and went home. So that's good.
That's a great day right there. Which days do you work? You said 3 days a week. Do they alternate kind of like Dr. Serv's, or is it a fixed day each week?
Usually I work Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays, but again, sometimes I'll switch if I'm on vacation or something. I'll swap things around so I can minimize how much time I take off. So that's nice too.
Dr. Jackie is on. Look at this.
I
get the zoom, the tooth zoom going. I like it.
I don't know. What do I look like? I probably look retarded. I don't know. Technology is not my thing.
You're on. It works. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thumbs up. Thumbs up all over.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic.
We can just see your mouth.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah. Are you laying down?
Better? No, I'm not laying down. I can see my whole face.
Now you're sideways.
I mean, what,
There
can you
we go.
see?
There we go. That's good. That's
Is
good.
that better?
That's great.
Lounging over there in Cleveland. All right.
Dang, I know. I mean, yeah, I have teeth. I brushed them before coming on.
No,
I'm
It was only showing your mouth.
very, very interesting.
That's
This
appropriate
podcasting
for our-
stuff is for you guys. I pull teeth.
And we like teeth, so it's okay.
You really
Always-
just brush your teeth before coming on?
Yeah, of course.
Is that the
What? I
whitening?
ate.
Is that the whitening toothpaste you used?
Yeah. Quest ride strips are actually on.
Are you doing a promo right now? What's going on?
Brush for 30 seconds. No.
Can I get your discount code?
I'll just send you a free sample.
All right. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
How was your day?
It was good. Busy day. So, every day's a busy day though.
I thought
for
you were
me.
at the Cavs game tonight. I just saw you post that.
No, I just posted they're playing right now, so you should be very impressed that I am stepping away from watching the Cavs season opener to be here. Now they're in Toronto. I posted that it's the season opener tonight.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm a little of a crazy fan, but that's okay.
Great. We got to be crazy fans sometimes. We got to have a passion outside of all this work. What'd you do today? How was your clinic? Were you in the OR? How would it go?
No. I was just in the office. Clinic was good. Did normal oral surgery stuff, some wisdom teeth, an implant, some other full arch extraction. Then I had some very interesting consults. I really, I don't know. There was something in the air today. I had a patient today who came in at 12:30. His consult was at 4 p.m.
Early bird.
And they were like, do you want to he stayed in the waiting room for 4 hours.
Did he run out of magazines?
No, I don't think he needed them. He had schizophrenia. So I think he probably, which is why he came so early, because he had to do his paperwork. So, and, it was very interesting consult, which, I don't know. It's just interesting. They wanted 2 implants in this guy. It was the number 30. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, 31's like periodontally involved, interradicular bone loss, gingivitis all around it. I'm like, did anybody look in this guy's mouth before referring him over? And then the poor guy gets there 4 hours in advance. And but he was very polite and very nice and thought I was very pretty and helpful.
What time did you see him?
helps.
Were you running late? And then it was 4:30?
Yeah, it was 4. We didn't see him any earlier. That's for sure.
Like that happens at 4:05.
I kind of felt bad.
You're
At 4:05,
telling me-
you're going, I've been here for 4 hours. And
He's one of the few people who didn't say that. I don't think
telling
he had
me he
anything
said-
else going on.
He said nothing about your white teeth? Consider
I
it.
wore a mask, okay? I wore a mask. I'm very particular about my teeth.
Your teeth look great. We're just messing with you.
I know. That's what I mean.
Actually,
But,
when
yeah.
you signed on, we were just talking about what days we all, not me. I don't count just yet, maybe 9 months, but Dr. Serv's working, just the first day today on call within, say, 5 to 6 days, about 7 days, actually. And then Dr. Erin was saying she does a 3-day week, and we were just talking about what days of the week. I'm curious, how many days of the week do you go?
I currently work 4 days a week, so and have Friday off.
But why'd you pick Friday for that? I'm so curious.
I know. Honestly, it was just the way my schedule worked. Because I work multiple locations, so that was kind of just how it worked out.
4 separate or 3 separate or 2 separate?
I work 3 separate offices, locations right now, so I'm kind of all over. But yeah, so 4 days a week, which is pretty, I think, standard for the practicing oral surgeon. Everybody wants to work 4 days a week. I worked 5 days a week for, the first 8 years of my career or so. I worked 5 days a week. And then I didn't know what I was missing until I started working 4.
Did you
Yeah,
pick,
you get burnt out. It's hard.
What was that? Brandon, what did you say?
Did you pick the Friday off, or did they kind of pick your schedule as far as those go?
Like I said, it just kind of, with the locations that I'm at and the days that were available, that's just kind of how it worked out. So I didn't necessarily pick it. It's just kind of randomly how it worked out. So it's not a bad day to have off. I know everybody gets up in arms, Friday is a big day for surgery, blah, blah, blah. And that's true. But at the end of the day, every day is a big day for surgery. So
Friday vibes. Dr. Anna, let's go around the horn with this. What days did you pick off again? I'm sorry, I missed that before.
me, Monday and Wednesdays. I think it's nice to break up the middle of the week a little bit. I get tired, and so that's why I take Wednesdays. Monday, my partner's in the office that day, and I think picking up an extra day early in the week is good. Mondays can be a little crazy, so you kind of pick up that whole long weekend. If you take too many times in a row, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then anyone who had problems over the weekend is suffering for a long time, etc. So
Sure, I didn't think of that. If you could pick one day, Dr. Serv, which one would it be? One day off a week.
Well, I'd probably do the Monday.
Monday off.
Yeah, piggyback it on a weekend. Fridays, I would do Friday too, but Friday is a bigger surgery day, I think, for a lot of people.
yeah, definitely. It's nice to have the 3-day weekend.
Interesting. All right, I'm learning. I'm trying to pick up on these. What topic's next? I don't want to be the only one.
Well, I think we all want to hear the update on Serv's raccoon.
Oh my God.
Yes.
People are saying
first
don't
of
feed
all-
raccoons.
Well, yes, right. No. You don't just feed it. I mean, this thing eats better than I do. A croissant? I don't even eat a croissant for breakfast or lunch or anything. And that's what you're throwing? I mean, I hope they're stale, maybe. I don't know. Or you have Costco size,
They're Costco.
packages. I mean.
Well, so we have this raccoon. Well, I have this raccoon that comes up to my back door now. And I have 2 cats, and my daughter sometimes is there, and she's like 4. And like, yeah, he comes up right up to the window and just like on 2 legs and hands on the glass, just looking in. I'm like, oh, you're so cute. Yeah, so I just throw him out some food and leave some water for him out now. It's only him. Like, there's no other raccoons.
I'm
but
surprised
it's
you
just been
didn't
him.
bring friends. I mean.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that social media one this last week in Seattle or something. Like, this lady was feeding these raccoons, and all of a sudden there was like 50 of them there, and she had to call 911 to like get out of there. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's so freaked out, she had to call 911, and police had to come to get her out of there.
Sounds like a
Yeah, I
bad
don't know.
horror movie.
No, yeah, I'm in the house. I don't let them in the house or anything. I mean, yeah, my cats act tough behind the glass, but they'd get torn apart,
I mean, does he
So-
come every night religiously?
No, he's like, it just randomly, I just look out the window. Sometimes he's there. I'm like, oh, he must come later at night sometimes when I'm sleeping, just because they're up. But yeah, it's probably a couple times a week for sure. I mean, at least.
What's his name?
I don't know. Big Papa. Like, he's big. He's big boy.
Papa.
I left out like fruit, fresh
Croissants.
fruit, nothing. Doesn't eat it. I left out a Wagyu beef patty that I had that was getting a little older, maybe like 4
Right.
days. He didn't eat it. And then like chicken salad from like, a co-op, it didn't eat that. And like chocolate chip cookie, he ate it. 3, he wanted 2 more of the cookies. And then like croissants, he loves croissants. So I don't know.
He likes the carbs.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Does he
Eating
hiss
gummy.
at you?
No, he's got like, no. He's
My
good. But
face, I'm sorry, I was revealing my feelings about raccoons. Like, we get them in our gutters and look
yeah, I know. Mine's a little more discerning, I think. Yeah.
terrifying.
The ones
Oh.
that come down the chimney. Ooh.
Ew.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned the flood. I was on a little podcast kick. I was putting some out, and then all of a sudden I was at work and I got this phone call from, someone's cleaning my house, and they're like, "Serv, your basement's flooding." I'm like, "What?" Like the worst call to get at work. You're like, "What do you mean my basement's flooding?" He's like, "Yeah, there's water everywhere." I'm like, well, where's it coming from? Like between cases, like, trying to handle something like that at work is not fun. Anyways, I got the water turned off, and he was able to like grab every blanket and comforter I had in the house, and even pillows, and like just sop it all up.
Oh, that
And
sounds
so-
great.
Yeah, I know. Everything was almost pretty much gone. And then like I come home, I mean, there's just water everywhere. What are you going to do in that situation? And so like, yeah, he got that. So I had to redo all the floors and everything and dry it all out. And so now I'm finally back up and running. So they'll be coming out.
That's a pain.
It's the worst.
Where was it
it's like,
going?
that's like a recurring dream, right? You're like, water's coming in your house. You don't know where, you know what to do.
You have no
some
idea
pipe
where?
in the wall, some pipe in the wall broke. Yeah, I don't know. It's not even that cold here yet. So I don't know.
It's going to come back. You don't know what pipe it was?
Oh yeah, they fixed it. So they
Oh,
found it.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole scenario took like a month to like get everything cleaned up and then redone. So
Oh,
I'm back.
I'm back. Well, I'm looking
It's a
forward
lot
to
of
your
work to
next
put.
content.
It's a lot of
I
work to
know.
put this stuff out. Like ask Brennan. Like I feel like I looked at his stuff last week.
You're very, very active right now, Brandon.
Yeah,
You've
I feel
got a
like he
lot of
put out
stuff
like
going.
25 episodes of different
I
things last
know.
week. I feel like I looked up, there's like another one out. I'm like, what's going on? He must have like this staycation, like workathon, editing
No, what
everything and
happened-
getting it out.
Just this week, I started our really, really busy rotation. Like we're on second call every night, the constant OR 3 times a week. It's like the busy rotation for 2 months. So I was looking at the calendar. I'm like, I could put a podcast on every day this week, like 2 weeks ago. And I went for it. I got like 10 podcasts out in 2 weeks. But You know what I've
very
been doing?
impressive.
Actually, no. We got all this technology. You got to use it. I've been using ChatGPT.
Bro, how long did it take me to get on this podcast?
Yeah, and
then
you're
you were
still
looking
just
at my
gotta.
teeth.
Yeah, you can't see the top of your head, but it's okay.
She just hasn't had her Botox for a while. She's just trying to...
I was just touching it.
Yeah, you gotta do these things.
I'm impressed that you find time during residency to do all that because I was tired.
What do you use? How do you use ChatGPT for podcasts?
The way I simplified it is, I mean, it's like it downloads into Riverside, and Riverside gives you the transcript. So everything we said just uploads. And that takes, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I'll hop on tomorrow. It'll all be downloaded. And then I plug in the transcripts and the chapter titles, because it'll divide that up too, into ChatGPT. And I have a couple prompts. They're like they're like an essay long. And I'll say, like, go over all the questions, all like the prominent and memorable quotes, any wisdom that was, and then like all the stories that were told. And then it just organizes all that, copy and paste. Now I have my caption, and then I make a thumbnail. I also have a couple more prompts where it's like, what were the most pertinent topics or quotes or
I got to
stuff?
talk to you about the thumbnail. Okay,
Yeah.
I noticed when you do a thumbnail, you look really good, and whoever you're with is like, I'm like,
Really?
when you make the next, that's what I look like in your thumbnail, and like you look decent, and I'm like, ooh. I'm like, all right,
All right, we'll
when
work
you make
on
the
it.
thumbnail, make sure I look good. All right.
Yeah,
I will.
I look good too.
I mean, usually I just look at myself
there's
too.
no
I'm like, oh
helping
yeah,
that,
that looks
so you're
good. I'm gonna
fine.
use that one. Oh, I just got Jackie's teeth in this one. I'm good, and then that's fine.
I'm just gonna have a fat head of myself just with teeth.
No,
Anyways, you were saying, go ahead.
I was just saying, I got a couple prompts where it's like, what would be most pertinent to a general population of like 50% dentist listeners and non-dentist listeners, and I take whatever it gets, try and make a title from it, and I post it out. It takes double the amount of time recording. So if it's a 30-minute podcast to record, it takes me about 30 minutes to do all that. And now we're down to an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do all of it. It's really not bad.
Mine is a pain in the ass to do. So I don't know. Because I add graphics and stuff and like pictures now. Like I got to stop doing that. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
I mean, it's a lot of work for me to make a reel, okay? Like,
do. Really? Like, all right. If you say so.
the right filter, it's a big deal. Gotta make sure the background isn't messed up.
Filters are overrated.
I've never used a filter. Just get the
Oh,
raw.
hashtag blessed. My God. I mean,
I look good. If you look at most of my content, I look terrible, but it's very authentic, vulnerable. Just
Authentic's the way to go.
I agree with that. Authenticity
Have a
is
little
like.
No, I still want my
number
thumbnail
one.
to look good.
You got lip fillers?
No,
Me?
I said I just put a little lipstick on,
her.
guys. Just
Is that the Lip Booster Supreme by? Do you know the lipstick now where it like makes your lips blow up? The inflammation and
like burns your lips, so they're
It's got
like,
histamine in it.
That's a
it's
studio
terrible.
yeah,
Yeah, you get kissed on the cheek. All of a sudden, you got this like lump over here, like a reaction.
Nice.
Sounds great.
It's probably
like
a
kinetic
Kardashian
sand.
problem.
I don't know, but so that's great. You put out like 20 podcasts in last couple weeks.
You throw 20 podcasts. I see you like run like 20 miles like a day or a week or something like that. Are you training for a marathon or something? Or are you just like running?
Just working out. It's fun because after putting that out for a couple years, 2-3 years, people will be like, hey, nice run. What did you think of this route? And now that's like a new kind of way of communicating and networking, which is fun. It's interesting,
It is fun and interesting. It is fun how we connect through this social media thing. I have to say,
you
cool.
post your bike stuff.
Me,
like,
yeah.
You post like your workout like on the bike, don't you? Like you're like, see, I do this. Yeah, see.
On that Peloton.
Yeah, I get a lot of comments, mostly from women, but I get a lot of comments. But like to Brendan's point, like people are always like, I have to try that ride, like thanks. Or I'll ask people like, what do you suggest? Like who do you like? Like, it's that kind of like connection, kind of like type.
You got to do the
so.
Joe Doctora views where you set up the camera and then you're biking for like a quarter mile and you go past it and then you have to go back and get your camera and then edit all that. That's a lot.
That is a lot. He's good at that though.
Shout out to Joe. All right.
And he's always got the quotes. I love the quotes. I'm there for the quotes.
That's a lot of work.
It's Peloton that you do?
I do Peloton, yeah. That's one of my forms of fitness, yes.
What's your Peloton name?
Tornado Tomsic.
Wow. Where'd you go with the tornado?
I didn't. My boyfriend came up with it because he says I'm just I come in and like I just go crazy and I'm the tornado. and he doesn't know what happened, and then it's over.
I've only done one spin class ever. I've only been on that spin bike one time.
It's a good name. It's so fun. On Peloton or a different one?
No, I took a class at SoulCycle.
Oh, that's good though. SoulCycle is
one time ever. That
solid.
was it. It was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot.
The SoulCycle usually combines like biking and some type of weights, right? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people love Orange Theory, but I've never done that.
None of them. I've done 85 before, but that's not biking. That's just little stations. That was before COVID, though. They might have changed it up after COVID, but they used to have like 30 plus stations. Like for 40 seconds, you do something, and next station. You do like 2 circuits around. Yeah, so it was crazy.
Yeah, circuit training. I love circuit training.
The HIIT workouts, the HIIT, those are the best. And then, Dr. Jackie, you do the squat thrusts too. Burpees, squat thrusts. Which one?
Tons of those.
I do those all the time.
Yeah, so I do all kind of if you want to get into my fitness routine, but I have a lot of fitness apps and a personal trainer, so I really mix it up. But a lot of the fitness apps, like actually the Peloton, they do a lot of strength apps, squat thrusts, burpees. Oh, they love burpees on there. My neighbors hate me, I'm sure, that live below me. I'm doing burpees. But no, I mean, I love those. You said you like them too. They make you feel so powerful. I love that. You just have so much confidence. You're like, yes, and you just want to keep doing it. And then I do like 10 and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But that was awesome.
Do you go up and wait when you hold them and you go down, you do the push up, then you go up, you go into the squat, the shoulder press, you go down.
Yeah.
Do you go up and wait though, where like over time?
Well, my problem is I usually do it at home. So I only have so many weights at home. So I'd have to buy new weights. And I haven't done that yet. But I do sometimes, and it does depend on the circuits that I'm doing and how tired I am. Like sometimes I could lift heavier weights above my head, and sometimes I do have to go down. So, but the type A, very competitive person in me gets very upset when I have to do that. But my back is telling me, because Brendan, let me tell you, go to a chiropractor now. That's all I'm saying. Because when I was you, I was never thought about my back. But now, I mean, Serv and Erin, I'd love to hear your take on this. After 15 years of doing this stuff, I mean, my back is speaking to me.
Yeah, it's when you get older, you hurt yourself when you sleep. When you wake up, you're like, oh, it's that happened. But yeah, that never used to happen. It's but yeah, no, I don't do a lot of 12 years ago, I bought on Amazon Prime Jillian Michaels workout. She had one called 6 minute or 6 week abs. I bought that on Amazon Prime, I think 12, 13 years ago. I still have it. And I still go through phases where all right, it's ready for the 6 week abs. And I do that every day for a while. Jillian Michaels, she's got a burpee in there somewhere. But yeah, that's about it. That's all the burpees I do.
Do you have the 6-pack abs?
No, I get the one pack ab. Just the one.
Well, you know what they say, abs start in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's true. That's my problem. I'll eat really well most of the day, and then right before bed, I'm like, oh, granola bar, cookie. I'm like, all right,
one for the raccoon, one for me, one for the raccoon.
Yeah, I know. He literally had 3 of those good cookies last night.
I come to your house, and I'm becoming a raccoon, dressing as one for Halloween or whatever it takes.
He was there a long time. I actually said goodnight to him, and I went upstairs to bed, and he was still at the window. That's weird. Okay, good night. It was just me and him and the cats.
You gotta name the guy.
Yeah. Right now it's just Big Papa.
Contest.
I was gonna do Domingo from the SNL, but I don't know. It's not sticking yet. Nobody saw that.
Tornado raccoon. I didn't see it.
I'm sorry.
Domingo.
No, but
hashtag Domingo. All right.
No, I'll have to.
Yeah. No, yeah, they did that skit on SNL a week or so ago. Sabrina Carpenter's, Ariana Grande did it, but they all sang off tune. It was pretty cool.
Oh, I did see that.
Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good.
That was good.
I haven't watched Saturday Night Live.
Well, I don't watch it. It just shows up on your socials, But yeah, I watched one video on TikTok the other day on this guy had the horse up there. He was redoing the horseshoe and carving it up. And now my whole feed is horses getting their hooves it's. I got to reset it.
I've seen
what happened. I watched one video for a minute or two, and then every third video was some horse. I'm like, all right, I gotta get off this.
I've been on that side of TikTok. Yeah. I've been there.
I was Googling, how do you reset your feed? All right, your preferences.
It's crazy how that algorithm works. You watch one video too long, and then the next week, it's all that one video. I had these, this is a funny one. I had watched, actually a friend sent me one where it's this whole I don't know, conference room of Jewish people, and they're dancing to like Waka Flocka. They're jumping. Have you guys seen these videos where they're jumping to Waka Flocka? And
no
then the
hands.
next month, I'm getting this video, like, and all the other angles of this video, and other people dancing to other songs, and then you get in this vortex, so you can't get out of it.
This
is the world that we live in. It's crazy.
We were doing surgery today. Oh, go ahead, Erin.
I was going to say, I make so much content, no one's getting caught in my vortex. I wish that it worked that way, too.
Waka Flocka and dancing in...
And Waka Flocka's so old now. But yeah, we were doing surgery today, and we were talking about video games. Like me and, you know, some of the assistants, they're like, yeah, I got my, you know, someone was saying, I got my boyfriend like this retro video game thing. It has like 200 games on it. And literally I went out, did the surgery, looked at my phone, and the feed was like retro gaming, like on there. Like it was just listening, right?
Yes,
I'm like,
it does.
Yeah.
It's so
like,
crazy. It listens. And then if you're like near somebody, your phone is near like somebody else's phone, picks up whatever they were looking at.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or like if you, well, yeah, I'm sure you know this, like if you're near somebody and their phone, then that person's like shows up on your like suggested feed, like people you may know or something like that. Like haven't seen this person in forever, or who is that? I mean, it's very wild. When that first came out, it was very creepy. I mean, it's still creepy, but
it's super creepy. I think it's going to get more common because of all the AI that they're implementing into every app, every device. I mean, like Apple was trying to partner with ChatGPT or something. We're like at a cusp. It's kind of getting interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like even when you post on YouTube and stuff, it'll say, is this AI content? You have to like answer these questions, and I don't know how they prove all that, but yeah, that's part of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have like a lot of our assistants, you know, in the office are young. Like some of them are still they go to school at night or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we do our homework by ChatGPT. That's how I learned about it. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, they're like, yeah, we just type in the question that we need and ChatGPT gives us the answer. And, you know, I was like the big nerd. I'm like, well, you're only cheating yourself. You know, you're not going to learn the material.
No, you just screenshot it now, plug it in and say answer.
I mean, this is like so new to me. I'm like, man, you don't know how hard I studied.
We're so old, we're doing the AI wrong, clearly.
Oh, at dental school. So I went to Tufts for dental school, and it's one of the bigger like dental schools classes. Like I think the class size is like 130, 140 plus or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah.
So when we had our big lectures, like in our big auditorium, like everyone had those old school Bic pens with the 4 colors, you know, the red, the black, the whatever it is, you click it. You know, the blue and the white pens or whatever, like the fancier ones. They banned those pens from class because every time the lecturer would be like, okay, the next subject is that everyone would click their headline color and like at the same time, and like it'd be like all the time. So they banned all those pens. Now everyone's just type in, screenshotting, and like throwing stuff in.
Crazy.
But yeah.
Well, there's not even books anymore, you know.
Well, some schools are like not wanting to go to actual class. They just want it all virtual. Like there's actually some I've heard I know some oral surgeons that volunteer at their dental schools, you know, their local dental schools. And I was just talking about this yesterday with one of my friends from Boston. He's like, yeah, a lot of the students are, you know, they're boycotting the actual classes. They want to, you know, just have the virtual, like they don't feel like they need to come in for that kind of thing. So
we used to have to dress up in professional attire, you know, and when we got to wear scrubs to class, that was like such a crazy thing. And now
and you go there and you get to sleep and fall asleep in histology. You know, it's like super hot in there. You're like, after lunch.
Well, then they turn the lights on anyway.
The way to fall asleep, I'm sure you guys had, though it was always the you know, put a pen up, right, on one side, and then just doze off. Remember those? No? Did you guys have a certain?
They also used to have they always had histology right after lunch. I'm like, it's like the worst. It's like dark in there, the slides, and you know, you're like barely like it's the worst time to have that class.
I mean, residency taught me how to fall asleep sitting straight up and just like sitting there and fall asleep. Grand rounds, that was the best. I would fall every Wednesday morning. Oh my God, I would just sleep standing up for an hour or sitting up for an hour.
I was just at AAOMS. We were just at AAOMS, and like some of the lectures I was looking over, people were just sitting there asleep, just sitting there nicely, like asleep at the lectures.
They were meditating,
taking it
all in. Yeah,
you got to learn how to do it the right way. But when you wake up and startle yourself a little bit, that's a little off.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think we all. I think we can all attest that we learned to sleep anywhere during residency. At least I did. I could fall asleep anywhere. Did not matter.
I still can't do that. Yeah, I
Really?
can't do power naps. Yeah, no.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't even fall asleep in my own bed. Thank you, insomnia.
Oh, I can fall asleep in my bed. I just can't like power nap anymore. But it's fine.
Have you developed a trick to stay awake when you start to doze off a little bit like that? Have you guys ever developed thought of a strategy?
Aside from hurting myself,
I hold my breath.
pinching my arm as hard as I can. No.
Pinching yourself could work. I hold my breath as long as I can, and then your heart rate goes up, and you're like, oh. I don't know. Seems to work until you fall asleep again.
A little hypoxia for the win.
Just move around, change position.
But Dr. Serv, it's interesting you mentioned about. Sorry, I got the ambulances in the back. It's interesting you mentioned that students now in dental school are boycotting going to class. And I was just talking to a attending today who said that you had to come in business attire or business casual in suits. You would wear dresses and heels every day of the week. And now students aren't even going to class. But then to their point, which is just a topic that I find very curious about, is dental schools don't make money off of patient care anymore. They don't. They're losing money. They're paying more to get materials in many senses from what I've seen. Their concept of making money is by getting more students in the class to just repeat a presentation that they've given the last 5 years, to give a test that they gave the last 10 at the end. And I think the incentive is to get more students that pay $120,000 a year at this school over here. That's where the money's coming from. And so then it's to the student's point, it's you're just giving the same PowerPoint that I have from the kid last year. Why am I going to come in to do this? I'll come in for the test. I don't know. This is not what education's about, and training in healthcare professions. I don't know.
I feel like you can do that with some classes, but dentistry is different. I went, with medical school, obviously it's different too, but there's physical learning in dentistry, there's lab work, there's all that other stuff that you still have to come in for. So yeah, I don't know, maybe they're just boycotting a part of that, but you definitely still have to do hands-on stuff.
I mean,
yeah.
No,
Yeah, we have. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. It's fine.
Okay, we had a student in my class who her dad was an orthodontist. She was 100% set on being an orthodontist. She never came to class. And we were, again, supposed to wear business attire. They finally let us wear scrubs. If she was the one that was coming with the Iowa shorts that said, or Iowa on the booty, she just wasn't really matching what everyone else was doing. And this was not a time where you didn't come to class. You were supposed to be there. And she ended up quitting dental school because she didn't get the grades to become an orthodontist. She wasn't okay with being a general dentist because she couldn't show up. So she ended up in my husband's medical school class eventually and became a dermatologist. So it's really hard to get into derm. So she's clearly very smart, but the strategy that works so well for her in med school wasn't working for her in dental school. So I just think that's interesting.
Well, to Serv's point, my med school, so I went to Wayne State in Detroit, and it was a while ago, way pre-COVID. The reason, you'll see why I say that. But we had streaming classes back then. So Wayne State is the biggest single campus med school in the country. So we have 300 students per class. So our lecture halls couldn't physically house each class. So they streamed every class. So only on average a third of the class would show up to the actual live class every day. And then everybody else would stream it. And then on test days, you would meet 2/3 of your class that you've never seen before. And actually, they had to split us up alphabetically, so I really only knew the latter third of the alphabet. There were some people I graduated with I had never met before. If you didn't if they weren't in your alphabet room, or they weren't on some rotation that you did, you could go through 4 years of med school and never meet this person. And so I could see med school definitely. I mean, obviously, once you get into third and fourth year, you have to do clinical rotations and you have to show up. But yeah, the coursework, it's just lectures. But
were you an in-person person or a streamer?
Well, she's got to be.
Yeah. Well, please, I'm the biggest nerd alive. So yes, I went there. I went, and it was our little cult. It was the show up to class cult. We knew each other. We had we hung out together, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I showed up. We all
the attendance was really low. Yeah, if the attendance was really low, sometimes they'd be like, okay, we're going to give a pop quiz or whatever, like for the people that are here, blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't that often.
You can't sit with us to the streamers, looking down on those streamers over there.
I mean, we had a note service too for some classes. Like there would be one of our students that would take notes and people would pay that person for their notes, and not go to class.
Good way to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
Streamers.
Well, we all made it. Except for Brendan, he's still in it. But yeah.
8 months.
How's it going? How is it chief year? Is it everything that you wanted it to be and more?
Not even close. Not even close. It is what it is. What do you think? I make so much content because I'm like, there's got to be more than this. I don't know. Not in a bad way. I'm just like, I don't know. I thought it would be very different. I thought it would be more.
So how many co-chiefs do you have?
Two others. One dude's from Jamaica, actually, which is pretty cool. And then the other guy is also from Long Island, New York. Yeah, it's good. We do these rotations every 2 months in a circle.
But I remember I had a countdown. Do you have a countdown, like on your phone or anything?
I have a countdown. I do I didn't get to it yesterday or today, but I do I try to make a daily TikTok of like 15, 20 seconds on like, I don't know, something that might be interesting of that day. And, once every 30 days, something will be like, oh, all right, so you like the drawer, like an open lock drawer, TMJ reduction. But I have a count up. So I'm at actually it's Monday was day 1200 on the dot. Yeah.
Wow. Well, speaking of content, how do you find your content? Erin, you always have like really good content. I'm not serious, not even joking. Like sometimes I have to think really hard to find content and it takes a long time. And then I ride on that for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just always thinking about things. So I have a list of like hundreds of ideas of things that I've tried or never got to. I got really burnt out. I was on TikTok for a while and I was like really hitting my stride. And like, wow, I'm really growing. And they change the algorithm and then it's like nothing. And some of it's like, surgery content's really popular, and then next thing you know, like you can't post that violent, terrible, gory, and so I almost got banned. And they would go back and take down content that was like a year and a half old, and then since I got multiple things in like the same week, then they're like, you're almost kicked off, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, you can't go live, you're losing your privileges, and you're gonna get kicked off. And I'd be like, how can I prevent it when this is like a year and a half old? I figure I had a troll. Someone was just going through and like reporting every last thing, because I have hundreds and hundreds of videos that have been on there for a long time and then suddenly it's taken down. So it's tricky. So I go through periods where it's like writer's block and I have no idea what to post. And then other times I just get lots of ideas and you build on what you do. But I've been liking the memes lately. I just go and find a video and then I just alter it for our space, and those
you just both did a meme, the resident meme, where you're getting like the consult, like we need the ultra super duper specialist for the teeth to come in here, and it's like an intern who's like half asleep, huh? Yeah, it's a fractured tooth, so like that. I totally I really felt that meme, that video. That was a good one.
Well,
that was a consult I actually got like that week. I was just like, all right. Whatever.
Some of those consults in residency, you have to just see everything, do everything, and sometimes it's ridiculous. And I remember being like first year intern, probably like July, and having someone's face just like totally ripped up. I think he was in a bike accident and just like, degloved, degraveled his face. And so I'm trying to like put it back together. And it's like the private practice oral surgeon that's 50 years old felt like he really should come to have the plastic surgeon on call do this. And you're like, well, here I am. Okay. You don't feel comfortable, but here I am,
Well, usually it's like, it's like the family medicine rotating on, surgery service on call on plastics rotation or something. Because they wanted a plastic surgery.
Yeah, I'm here. Here I am.
That's what you get. Here, I'm here. Yeah. It's like, all right.
I think that's really tricky, and that's something Brendan I would think about. It was such a hard transition. I'd love to hear from you guys if you thought so. It was a really hard transition going from residency where you weren't allowed to say no to anything, and things that freaked you out, you're just like, all right, we'll do it. So it was really great to teach life skills of like, I am not afraid to do hardly any, I got asked to do a lip sync and I did it. I'm not a good dancer, but I did it. It applies to other parts of life too. So I'm willing to take risks. I say yes to things all the time that I'm not comfortable with because I got really used to saying yes. So that part's great. But when you're in your own private practice setting or your own practice, whatever, once you're not a resident, for me, it was really hard to learn when it was appropriate to say no, because sometimes I'm not the right person to do that. And you would be better to go to a higher level center or to have a bigger team of, multi-team approach, etc. And it's hard to set that boundary and to know when to say no, because you're like, I've got this, I've been doing this. And so for me, that was a hard transition. I wonder if you guys agree.
I mean, it is hard. Like when we were residents, like we would know, like this isn't even on oral surgery. It could be on when you're on general surgery. Like you get that Friday afternoon dump from somebody like at the hospital, like, oh, there's going to be an abscess coming in or some neck fascia patient coming in or something like on a Friday. Like, some of these outside attendings that just kind of send them to the residency, because they're getting out of town for the weekend or something and they don't want to handle it. It could be their case, right? So yeah, that's a thing. And every once in a while, like as a private practice person, I've had to send something to, like the main hospital that has oral surgery here. And like, I feel that, like, man, they're going to think I'm just dumping, but literally like this would make more sense there,
Yeah.
And so like, I've seen it obviously both ways, but that's definitely a thing.
That's true. When I send things, I'm like, I know what they're going to be saying. I know the complaints they're going to have. And I know, they're going to be like, hey, Dr. Sheffield said this over.
I agree with you. I still have a hard time saying no sometimes. I'm like, I really shouldn't do this. And I have a harder time when it's like the emergency calls, like everybody's in pain. Can you see this patient? And, I'll like do a little diatribe to my assistant, like, no, this patient always calls. It's Friday at 4. I can't do this, like, blah, blah. And then at the end of it, I'll be like, just tell them to come in. Like, it's very hard to say no sometimes for me. And yeah, it's hard. There's times when I still feel like I'm a resident. Like my mindset is like, you have to see everything. You have to do everything. You have to get it done. And I mean, I've gotten better, but yeah, sometimes it is hard to let that go. I don't think Brendan will have a hard time. I feel like you're going to be okay with that. But
saying, but we're not taught when to say no. That's such a good concept. Like, when do you say no? What do you say no to? I'm not going to be doing any cancer. I know that, although the last 2 months I've done like 5 or 6 cases. But yeah, I don't know when you say no. How do you say, what's your threshold? All you guys, saying no to things.
it depends on what it is, obviously. I mean, I'm always like, if someone says they're in true pain or someone has an abscess, is swelling, like, I'm always like, yeah, they have to come in, like, because that it could be an emergency and I don't want people in pain. So I'm usually pretty soft on that. But, other things, I triage a lot, ask certain questions that you can kind of determine like how like acute something really is and whether or not you can see them or you can push them off or whatever. I mean, I think we all have like you said, I don't do cancer. I mean, there's certain types of surgeries that I know I'm like, I just don't do this. Like, that's an easy no.
I think
go ahead, Erin.
Right? I think it's tricky too, because sometimes there's something where like, I don't feel like super comfortable with this, but also it would be a good thing for me to do. And the patient really wants me to do it because, I'm in a small town and you have to drive 2 hours to St. Louis, so it's like they can't get there as much. So they're really asking me and I really want to, but I haven't done it in a long time, or maybe I'm not the best person. Those are tricky. And you just have to, again, find your line between what's good for the patient and your professional development and what is really best for the patient. So I just really have to think about it from the patient perspective. Is this me doing it because it just sounds kind of fun, but maybe it's not going to be the best result, or sending it out, is that going to be the best thing? It's tricky. And Jackie and I have these conversations a lot. We'll be like, hey, should you do this or not? Or would you do it in the OR or in the clinic? Or what do you think? Like I'm always bothering her with those questions, but it's tricky.
Well, you bring up your situation is interesting, which, being in a more rural town, I think the rest of us are in more kind of urban areas. I mean, I'm in Cleveland, which is like a mid-level city. I mean, there's a lot of other providers within 10 minutes of me. So that's a very interesting point. And you see that a lot in a lot of smaller towns, which I think is a pro and a con, right? For exactly what you said. Like, you do get kind of just spread your wings a little bit and do more stuff than maybe you wouldn't do otherwise, because, the plastic surgeon is down the street, and available.
Where is the nearest other oral surgeon or plastic surgeon from your area? Dr. Erin?
St. Louis is one of the bigger cities. Springfield, Illinois, Iowa City, Iowa, University of Iowa. It's tricky. It's kind of sparse, and especially Illinois, there aren't very many people all taking state aid. So that's a big thing. It's really tricky in Illinois. The government is not run very well, and there's not much funding. So I was trying to take Medicaid patients. I wanted to do my part. I wanted to help out. And I started getting people taking the train from Chicago, like 4.5, 5 hours, coming to have their surgeries and trying to have sedation and go home on the train. And I got a 2-cent check for a $100-something exam from the state. And that's when I decided, I can't afford to do this. I can't be, it feels like the only oral surgeon in all of Illinois taking state aid. So what I do instead is, I'll pick and choose cases that I do pro bono. And that's kind of how
2 cents?
2 cents, not even 2 cents on the dollar, 2 cents on the $100. Or I've heard you might wait 3 years before they pay you. Who can afford to do that? And when you're the only person, it's just really hard. So
it's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm still learning how bad it really is, and these treatments that they actually decreased around 2008, 2010. I'm just starting to learn about the history of insurance and coverage, and patients used to get more care back in the day when there was less or no insurance at all. I'm baffled by it. This is what I mean by getting into residency, where I'm shocked at the system, the lack of actual treatment. I want to see people get care done, but you can't afford the living to treat all these people. I don't know. I don't know the answers yet. And that's why I appreciate time like this, just to ask questions and learn. And maybe one day we can actually make this work again,
I think a lot of patients don't get care they need too, because they're so stuck in the mindset of insurance that if insurance doesn't cover it, we just don't get it done.
Or I don't need it because it's not that important. No, that's not how it works. Or they maybe
spend more money on their insurance than what they would have paid to get this, most of our procedures are not thousands and thousands of dollars. Not to say that it's not cheap. Dental work in general is expensive for the general population, but it's sad how many people let what the insurance will pay dictate their quality of life, their care, their health, their mouth. So it's frustrating and sad.
I think it'll be a good time within the next 5 years to come together as dentists again and actually create a new insurance. Didn't Delta Dental do that years ago? And now Delta doesn't cover anything. So it's perfect timing, right?
Definitely need a solution, but that works for everybody, works for patients and providers, because that's why, providers stop taking insurance, right? I mean, I'm sure you've heard it. We've all been through it, in residency. Why does no one do orthodontic surgery anymore? Because of insurance. Insurance stopped reimbursing for it. And you can make just as much money taking out a set of wisdom teeth in your office than you can spending 4 hours in the OR. That sucks. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It just kind of stinks for us, for the patients. I mean, I don't know how many of you, I see patients, I analyze their jaw, every single patient. No less than, I would say, 25% of my patients that come in for anything, implants, wisdom teeth, just extractions, I look at them, I'm like, damn, you could have used jaw surgery. I wish you had jaw surgery 20 years ago, and people just don't realize it. And it just breaks my heart, because I'm I know why, there's a myriad of different reasons why people don't get jaw surgery or don't follow through with that kind of thing. Money being a big, driving force, but also education. If you're just not told the benefits of this and what needs to be done, you don't know. And then you get to be midlife and your teeth are all jacked up and you're getting them all pulled because they're too crowded and your jaw is malaligned and, there's nothing that you can do about it. And I don't know. That's my little soapbox. It breaks my heart.
It is heartbreaking.
Serv, speak. Give us your opinion.
Oh my God. No, so we take a hit being on call at the hospital.
Do it in the
we take this hit being on call at the hospital. Kind of sucks.
Nobody actually wants to do it. So, I don't know.
No, seriously, we take this hit. Our practice has been on call at the hospital for trauma and everything, infections, whatever, for the whole time I've been part of it. And a lot of that stuff is uncompensated. We're not hospital employees, we're private practice, but
Right.
we take call. Our office is the only oral surgery office around that takes call there. And it's a level 2. They're trying to make it level 1. They have residencies now. They have in-house trauma team. They're getting all their eggs in a row to be a level 1. So that would be the second level 1 in the side of the state, essentially, at that point. But it's a high level 2 at this point, which is still pretty busy. And for the ER, it's actually the busiest ER numbers wise in the state, not severity. Harborview is still the level 1 trauma center around here. But yeah, like we don't get compensated for a lot of that. So the patient doesn't have insurance, they can't pay. I mean, we still do it because we're the only ones to help. We just take a hit. It's kind of our service to the community that we're in. That's how we feel about it. But it is a hit. We're a lot of times we're fitting them in, we're going to the hospital multiple times, don't get compensated for it. It's our own free time away from our families, all the things, but it definitely is a hit. And that's why a lot of oral surgeons, when they get out, they don't want to do that stuff. Like it's a pain in the butt, so I get it.
Concerned, where's this going to be 20 years from now? Because if everyone keeps doing favors and people are just getting tired of being told you need to do this because you're the only one that can, and of course we will. Of course, you guys have been for so long. But where does it go in 20, 30 years from now?
I mean, kind of like hospitalists now, like they have in-house hospitalists that admit patients for you. Like when I got out, like I was admitting all my own patients, and if I did surgery on them, I would admit them to my own service or whatever. But that's a pain now because it's like you're at work in your clinic and they're calling you for chest pain or something. And you're like, get some enzymes, get like you can't really examine them either. Like I don't have a PA. And so like, it's too much of a pain. And so like, that's why like now pretty much everywhere you go, hospitalists are admitting everything and you're just a consultant. Right. And that's nice now, but it wasn't like that before. So I think maybe they're just going to have an in-house trauma guy for face. They're going to have an in-house, I would hope, somebody that the hospital pays that just helps with that stuff. But I mean, some hospitals compensate their surgeons for that. Ours don't around here.
Right.
But yeah.
In New York, there's so many that aren't either. And that's my concern because it's like, everyone's giving free handouts here and there. How does it, people aren't taking insurance. You guys some of you aren't taking insurance anymore. So like the compounding effect, and doctors are at the most debt ever in the history right now. So in 30 years, it's going to be 3 to 5 times as much as it is today.
It's like some dental schools are like 175,000 plus a year. Like, and by the time you start paying that back, it's like double, triple, like whatever it is. It's bad.
I mean, I thought it was bad when we were in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you went to Tufts, right? You said you went to Tufts.
That was like
right?
one of the highest ones at the time too. Yeah.
I was down the street at BU, and it was very expensive.
Well, plus med school, right? I went to Tufts, then I also went to med school, so that's double. Like
med school was cheaper for me.
Mine wasn't that cheap.
I went in Detroit, maybe.
I don't know, but yeah, still, yeah, it's double. Like it was like a lot.
Well,
I was floored to find out how much dental schools are now, like per year. Like it's.
I don't know how you get out of that hole.
They're not treating more patients. They're just taking on more students.
I was going to say, I think the culture of medicine has changed a lot. So I feel like in the older days, medicine was like, and not to say it's not your calling, but it was much more of like my calling and my personality and all of that is wrapped around being a physician, and my whole life and I'm giving to be a physician. And, you don't see your kids and you give everything for this. And in some ways that's noble, but I think we're not willing to give that as much in the younger generations. Like we want a quality of life and we want to be with our kids, and we see the importance of wellness and sleep and taking care of ourselves, and that translates to taking care of patients. And so I think it's kind of this hard pushback between docs are not putting up with so much of that now, because it's like, if you want privileges at our hospital, then you have to do this thing. And it's kind of like, well,
ours too. Yeah. You have to take call if you want privileges there.
Yeah.
That's
so
how
it's just kind of like, okay, but we're kind of more like, well, that's not really fair and okay that I do all this extra work and ruin, being on call is stressful, whether you get the call or not. There's this underlying level of anxiety about if I'm going to get called and can I start this thing or not, or will I get called out of my kids' play, or and have to awkwardly leave in the middle of the row and not bother people. But the hospitals haven't caught up because they don't want to pay. So it's kind of this awkward, hard transition where the few people that are left in the midst willing to pick up the slack are picking up a lot of slack. And I think at some point, yeah, and that's really hard too. So at some point, I think the hospitals are going to have to come and try to compensate a little bit.
What I'm seeing is it's all falling on residency programs. We have several hospitals in the areas, and as these major, like the flagship hospital, goes out and buy these satellite hospitals, the smaller clinics in the hospital, they literally, I can't name the institution that I'm at, like the main one, but They literally just transferred a patient from way out on Long Island to the main hospital in Manhattan, an hour and a half. They probably passed 35 hospitals on the way for a patient who's intubated and sedated because they were like borderline, is this Ludwig's or not? They don't know. They don't have ENT or oral surgery over there. So we're going to transfer this guy who's intubated and sedated, so he's critical. But we're going to pass 25, 35 hospitals on the way that possibly could treat him. Like, and the politics.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's that, but you're right.
This
That's
is
all
what's
over.
And it's getting dumped on the residency programs. That's where the free labor is. Yeah.
And like a place like Erin is, or the rural places, like, believe it or not, not every state has an oral surgery program. You know, not every state even has a dental school. So, I mean, there's gonna be a breaking point eventually where, you know, something's gonna break. I mean, and something's got to give with the system, with the providers, you know, with everyone.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. And Dr. Aaron, like you were saying years ago, you take the hit, you do the favor, you sacrifice certain parts of your life for others, but at least you could kind of on those days off have that quality of life because you give time up to see the patients and whatnot, but then you get compensated financially. Like many Journal of Family Medicine, internal medicine in the hospital, they're not even being compensated financially for that time in their life and sacrifices that they're giving up. It's just not worth it. So, no, it's really interesting. I had a co-resident just last year. He graduated with over $700,000 of debt. And I know his contract because I was talking with him. He's making 30% with a base of 415. Not the greatest, what is it called? Like fiscal sense or fiscal responsibility. I don't even know the word for it. But yeah, a lot of these people, they're never going to pay this off, ever. I don't know. The breaking point might be soon, but what is that breaking point? What is it going to mean to us? I don't know.
Yeah. And
That's a lot of debt.
I'm the opposite of Serv. I'm not taking call currently. You know, in some ways I feel bad about that, but my hospital won't compensate me. Most of the patients I'd be seeing would be Medicaid, so that would be, you know, if the patient pays anything, that's where I would get compensation, and I know I'm not going to. And I would be the only person taking call for oral maxillofacial surgery in this area. And so how much I have to give up, 10 days a month of my life, where my husband's ears, nose, throat surgeon, he's already on call giving up 10 days of his life. So are we giving up 20 days of our family life for call, or are we doing it at the same time? And then if we both happen to be at the hospital at 3 a.m., what do we do with our kid? You know, there's just like so many moving parts and pieces, and it's tricky. So they'll call me sometimes, and if I can go in, I might just choose, yeah, I'll come and help. Sure, it works out. Or my husband gets called on a lot of dental stuff, so I might, I'll just take care of it. I know that,
But you're already taking emergencies probably every day in your clinic from all their dental
so many emergencies.
Which you also have to realize as yourself too, like when you take those emergencies in your office, like think about all the cases you're preventing going to the urgent cares, going to the hospitals.
Yeah.
So it is really, a service, and we shouldn't downplay that because, a lot of people, as we all know, not for anything, the ER is their primary care physician and they'll go to the hospital. I mean, it blows my mind sometimes when you hear about patients like, I just had surgery and like the last person they call is like the surgeon. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you do? I mean, but whatever. But so we really do a big service. I think we saw that during COVID for sure. I mean, obviously most healthcare professionals are essential, but I think as oral surgeons, we all probably saw how essential like we really are, maybe even more than we thought, because we do prevent a lot of patients from going to the ER, taking up the ER doc for someone who has a periapical abscess that's really painful down the hall from like someone with chest pain. I mean, triage priorities. It's a service that we do. Is just if we're not, just because we're not taking call doesn't necessarily mean we're not taking call, I guess.
Yeah, no, thank you. But part of what I was going to say is that it's also tricky because since I'm not officially on call, they call me whenever. So
then you could say no whenever.
That's true, but it's tricky because I'm a bleeding heart. Remember, like trying to say, like you were saying, you want to help everyone. And so they call at whatever time it is, 4:00 on a Friday, and you're like trying to finish up all this stuff that's been going crazy. And
yeah, that goes back to setting boundaries, and it's hard, and we just have to do it.
Speak to you, and you don't even know who it is or why they're calling and why they're pulling you out of your case to come do it, and then they're like just verbally dumping all this stuff on you, and you're kind of like, whoa, what? who is this? Why are we talking about this? What are you asking? I'm not on call, so why are you telling me this? You know, like I feel like instead of saying, hey, we're hoping maybe you could help us with the case, they just start like dumping. And then I have to figure out, I'd love to help, but I can't. I had some plans or in the middle of my cases myself, you know, so it's almost trickier because I don't have that boundary to say I'm not. I mean, I can say I'm not on call, but, you know, I want to help, but then you get called all the time. So
yeah, you got to set boundaries. Like what I did, like when I first got working, like we were taking hospital call in conjunction with office call at the same time for the whole week. Like when you're on call for the office and the hospital. That included the weekends and everything. But because we're the only group doing that call at the hospital, I negotiated with the hospital like 8-9 years ago. Like, you know, we can help your guys' call and we don't get compensated for a lot of it, I understand, but we can do it Monday through Thursday. I just said, you know, this is all that we could do because we're the only group doing it. And it's a lot for us to manage all that and our own private practice. So we literally take their call. We take hospital call 24 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. So when you're on call, and then the rest of it for the whole week is still our office call. So that's kind of nice that we don't have that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like at Thursday at 3 p.m. is when the hospital call stops until Monday morning, technically. Obviously, sometimes they'll admit someone over the weekend and they don't wait to consult you until Monday, but when you're back on. But yeah, that's helpful because it's just too much. Like you have to set some boundaries. So we have that already in the system. And so like, yeah, they're on divert or whatever they need to do in the meantime. But yeah, we can't physically manage it, you know? So we have to kind of set that boundary.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got to strong arm it a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I'm practicing my boundaries. I'm practicing really hard.
Well, my phone's giving me a boundary because it's about to die.
All right.
So if I disappear, I'll come back.
You've been disappearing, but it's good. It's like he comes back.
I took so much of you, Jackie. So you come and go.
You can plug it in.
I mean, all right.
Well, Sir Mix-a-Lot for you guys.
Dr. Erin, I really appreciate
That's
that.
bringing it back. That's good.
You like that? Here you go.
Yeah. Now you got to mix that with some Morgan Wallen, then I would be impressed.
Ooh.
I got to get a hotkey for that. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, Dr. Erin, I really appreciated that. I don't plan on doing hospital call if I can get out of it. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm going to take the board exam and everything, and I want to help, but I know none of the hospitals are like they're losing specialists and providers by the day that take call at all these hospitals because they're not reimbursing them. They're saying you want privileges, you got to take call for us. And I'm like, I don't need your privileges. And if you don't want to compensate, it's kind of on you. And it's never going to get better until we start talking about these issues because we're here to treat patients and patients are losing it on care and providers are getting manipulated. And I don't know. I want to see the profession get better now that, I don't know. Now I'm starting to see what it is.
Yeah, we're all taking big size. It's a stressful thing to think about and talk about, but it is important. And hopefully, you know, we can make some changes. I think I've seen...
like what Serv said, I hope that one day hospitals start to employ in-house surgeons, oral surgeons, because I mean, personally, I guess that's something that I might be interested in. Probably not now, but you know, about 5 years ago, I would have definitely been interested in that. But I mean, I think it's a novel idea, but you know, like the hospitals. I mean, yeah, hospitals are game changers for everyone. I mean, I didn't have a hospitalist when I was in residency, like Serv said, like we were admitting everything ourselves. And even residents, I mean, you could talk, Brendan. I mean, do you guys utilize hospitalists as residents?
No, we have to do everything.
Yeah.
Oh, well, wow. That's good.
We just
got it was for us too, but
yeah.
But it's nice.
It'll be nice when you get out and you don't have to.
Yeah. But it's better. I mean, when you think about it, it's better care for everyone around the board.
They're there in house. They can handle all that stuff during the day when you're like, you know, doing a sedation. You can't answer your page right away.
Well, and then if you get a call, like someone's got chest pain, yeah, you order the labs, but like, okay, consult cardiology, like I ain't going to take him to the cath lab. Like, I mean, you have to do that. So like they're there to do it. I mean, it just makes more sense. And like they're getting their RVUs, so they're happy. I mean, it's really a win-win. Like hospitalists, I love them. They're like my best friends.
That does make
sense. Well, before it was like really hard to get them to admit someone. Like when they first started doing their thing, like you'd have to look for something in the patient's history. Oh, this patient had diabetes 10 years ago.
I think the culture for that changed.
You got to admit them.
Yeah.
But their A1C's fine now. I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's like, but now they're just admitting them, so it's fine.
I think
now there's just more of them, I guess. at least where I am. Like,
I mean, they
it's
got to
just
get paid too. They have to like that's how they're billing. Like it's
Most
an
of our
easy admit.
patients
It's
are
really an easy admit for them. Like they don't have to
low
do a lot.
acuity. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're like
yeah.
the
So
easy
they like those
patch
now.
them
It's
up,
like
send them out.
inflate. They get their numbers good, and then like they don't have to do much. We're just managing their drain care really
Yeah.
and their comfort.
Right, the
Right.
high acuity would be for the in-house surgeon. I could definitely see that coming true, into fruition in the future. But how do you get someone an oral surgeon, for example, to do that in-house hospital call? Like they're not going to pay. It would have to be loan forgiveness.
There would have to be compensation.
It would have to be loan for.
They would have to, break down and compensate. Otherwise, it will never happen. Oh,
it'll probably be loan forgiveness, right? At city hospitals. Yeah. Who's this?
This is Himik. He's from Ukraine.
He's from Ukraine?
Yeah.
You know that? How do you know that?
Well, he was shipped from there. Not to me directly, but he was shipped from there, and then I got him from somebody. So yeah.
The little guy that spars with your raccoon.
He's friendly. He's super friendly.
He has pretty eyes.
That raccoon would just tear him apart, though. Poor guy.
Well, the raccoon's like twice as big.
5 times as big, probably. Yeah, he's big.
I wonder what that raccoon's HbA1c is.
Diabetes now.
He's a big boy.
3 cookies a night.
He must be going to all the houses getting all the junk food. He must have a routine. I bet he has it.
I wonder if he knows what's coming. Halloween. I mean,
I'm just one of his suckers, just feeding him like the good stuff. Like he's just going house to house probably every night. Makes the rounds. By the time he gets back to me, it's like 4 days later. He's done the round.
He's got a bag. He's good.
I want to talk about Dr. Gallagher's little friend at their AAOMS reception. I feel really bad if we don't get to talk about that before we end this podcast.
That was funny because I became lactose intolerant in the last like 2-3 years. And I had picked there weren't too many, but I picked a certain like whatever pickings, and I had them on a plate. And then all of a sudden we all met, we were talking, and then 5 minutes later, I turned around and the plate was gone. And so
you had a full plate. You had a full plate of food just sitting on the table. Like, you put it down, you're talking to people, you put your plate down on the table for a little bit.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
It was a full plate.
Why would you take that away? Why?
So I've never seen that before. Like the person took his plate, like a full plate, and then you look back and his plate's been refreshed. Like she got everything else. She got everything that was on the plate new. She got a new plate and put everything on a new plate that was brand new, but it was all the same stuff that was on his old plate, like all the same things, and refreshed all the food on his plate. Like you can refresh a drink or something, but I'd never seen anyone like get their plate refreshed. Like, oh, that plate was looking a little old. Let me just give you the same thing on a new plate.
It was a mound. It's like a mound.
It was a lot.
A little extra love.
It was like tri-level. Like it was a lot of stuff going on.
I felt like she was just acting like this is my level of customer service, but she didn't offer anyone any.
I had to get my plate refreshed. Like literally, like I've never seen that. Like a food plate. Oh, that plate was looking a little old. It's sitting there for like 5 minutes. I got you a new one.
She clearly had a crush.
You guys took us a picture.
I texted to her. I mean, so if you want her phone number, I could find it because I had to text it to her. So.
Right.
I do have some plates here that are looking a little sad.
I
She
mean,
had to put her lipstick
New York
on.
City may be better than Orlando,
Oh, the lipstick, yeah, the lip booster supreme.
Yeah, she probably
Didn't
did
she
that.
put it on for the picture?
Wasn't she joking about going home with you or something? Like,
whoa.
Well, and then
Just
we went
to
to
the
a
room, just to the
party, and then I didn't see you. I mean, the three of us went, and then you were just MIA for a while, I think.
Which party was that? Yeah, I got busy. Which party was it that night?
Well, you did, okay. What night was that? That was the first night. That was the Cuba Libre party.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was Max's party. Yeah. What'd you guys think of that?
I got her last year.
It was hot in there. It's like sweaty and hot.
Yeah.
Hear anything?
Yeah, it was hot and sweaty. That's true.
Now,
I like that
the
they had
Aspen party, that was pretty good. They throw a good party.
That was good.
The ice bar, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm old.
I know Erin, I don't think was there, but Brendan, you were there, weren't you? I know. Yes, because
Well,
I have a picture
I
with
was
you
there.
there.
Oh,
The
he was
ice
there.
bar. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, I mean, let's face it. I mean, the whole week is just like, I mean, once you get to be our age, Brendan, you're going to be like, you really like, maybe I won't go until Thursday because if I go Wednesday, then I'm going to get talked into going to some party like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And by like Saturday morning, I'm going to be so dead. I don't even know how to get up out of bed. I mean, when you get older, these parties, when I was a resident, they're awesome. I mean, they're still awesome.
I didn't even know there were parties till I met you, Jackie. So I'm just really uncool
I'm a
or
bad
something.
influence. I mean,
And now I'm old.
This
And I
is
don't
me,
want-
like, toned down. I mean, in residency, I was like, work hard, play hard. I didn't sleep.
I'm out to
Wait a
1
minute,
a.m. with Jackie and Serv, and I'm like, I don't drink alcohol, and I don't know any of these
Oh,
people.
more for us.
I want to hear some of these stories. You said it was work hard, play hard back in residency.
Oh my
Give
God,
me what's your favorite memory?
My favorite memory is good. It's good and it's bad. I could get myself in trouble. Like, but it's not a good memory. I remember driving, like literally driving to be on call 7 a.m. Saturday morning, still hungover. Like I was driving and I'm like, I don't feel good. Like I shouldn't be driving maybe. And like it was not good. Like, but that's residency. I don't know. I would just,
It's also like
we
dental
were-
school. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were just unstoppable. Like, we're like, we are going to work our butts off and then we're going to party because we can. And we're going to get up and do it all again tomorrow. I mean, that was just
bad
the
in
mindset.
dental school because when I was in dental school, like back then, people could smoke in bars, or right around bars. And like I didn't smoke, but if you're out drinking or at a bar with your buddies at night or something, and you go to see a patient the next day in dental school, like your hair might have the smoke in it. Even if you watch, I feel like it was always just like in you, like the people smoking around you kind of thing. Like that was the worst part.
Well, I went to BYU, which is a stone cold sober #1, straight to University of Iowa, which was like #1 party school. That's
a big transition
dichotomy right there. Yeah.
Where'd you end up? Dr. Jackie's out. Dr. Erin, where did you end up? Did you end up being more like BYU? Oh, you're back, Dr. Jackie. Okay, you were out for just a second there.
I know, my phone's done.
Did you end up partying or more of like the non?
Oh, I'm sober. I'm not a partier.
But you could
But
party.
I'm a lot of fun.
I mean, partying doesn't mean just drinking. There's karaoke. There's dancing.
People karaoke. I am a karaokeer. One of my husband's friends thought for sure I was not sober because he's like, well, she did karaoke and clearly she was drunk. So I don't need to drink alcohol to seem drunk or act like other people do when they're drunk.
How's the karaoke voice? Stellar?
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely on par for karaoke. I'm not an opera singer or anything, but like, as far as karaoke goes.
You would never want to karaoke with me. I can't carry a tune to
So
save my life.
Go to a party and have fun. I'm just not partying, maybe.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. Yeah.
Sleeping in cars. That was my favorite part of
If
it.
Jackie's done, we should probably.
Well, my phone is done. I'm sorry.
Yep. Let's wind it down. I gotta. Oh, it's 10:30 here. What time is it where you guys are?
9.
Yeah, I know. Not even.
Like
Just a chin. You're going to see this and go, my, it's just my mouth the whole time. A lot.
Well, it's the right niche for it. Everyone's just like, they are nice teeth.
Jackie, do this. Like, oh, there you are.
Now she's gone.
Going in and out. That's funny. That's really funny. All right, friends. All right. We'll do this again soon. We will.
Oh.
All right. Thank you guys for joining tonight. This was fun. This is so funny because we met a month ago, and now we all got a night together. This took a couple weeks for us to get together on. It wasn't as easy as we thought it would be.
No, it's hard. 4 people trying to get their schedules in order. Plus my pipe thing, so yeah.
Yeah, the flood.
Raccoon.
You keep an eye on that raccoon. That raccoon's getting bigger.
Yeah, well, no, he's actually smaller. He's smaller.
Small?
He was bigger last winter.
Oh, this is like a recurrent thing.
Yeah, but he's took a long time. I used to leave food out for him last fall. And then like I came home from work one day and I looked out there. I'm like, oh, it's like still daytime. Why is there a raccoon there? Like he comes out at night. A big rat was eating the food. Like a ginormous rat was eating the food that I had left out for the raccoon. I'm like, after that, I never left food out again. I'm like, I'm not even. Because I used to wake up in the morning, oh, the food's gone, and like he must have came at night. And now I'm like, a freaking rat probably came every night and ate the food. Like it was like a big rat.
Like horrified.
Yeah, it was like that bothered me. So yeah,
That
I don't leave
bothers
food out anymore.
You're not even in New York City,
Ugh.
where I feel like the rats really live.
I got 2 cats. He's not coming in the house, but still, it was gross. It was just he was too close. Yeah,
We could send you a few if you need. If you need a couple more,
that's
friends.
all right.
All right, guys. Good stuff. Good. Dr. Jackie's back on. Wait. Whatever you is that your phone now?
It's my computer now. It wasn't working before, and then I was on my phone. My phone died. Now I'm on my computer.
Well, now we can see your whole face.
I feel like we have to start over.
All right, let's restart it.
Sure, because you've been
Welcome to the
staring at my
podcast.
teeth. They're up my nose this entire hour. God, Pierce Bueller.
Right up the nostrils.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess it serves me right because that's all we do all day, right? Is really like staring at people's faces and kind of looking in weird positions that most people wouldn't want to look at. So I guess
All right,
getting
go
some of my
Cavs.
own. Yeah, they won. I bigly. I got my little text. So
Yay.
that's good. Yes, yeah.
That's a big night.
It's a big night. Have you been to a Knicks game? You should definitely go to one if you haven't.
I should.
I mean, it's a big deal to go to
Oh, that's
MSG,
big
I
time
guess.
he has.
I did
Big
last year. Yeah, the guy I signed with, he took me to a game over the summer, April, May. I forget when it was, but that's right. I did go once recently. Yeah,
That's a perk of being out of residency and attending. Then you can go to more sporting events.
I would love to. And go to more AAOMS events. Do you all usually go to them every year?
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Think there'll be another ice bar next year that we could crash?
In DC?
Oh, DC! I
Isn't it
can't
in
wait
DC
for
next year?
DC. Will have a lot better venues. There's so much
Oh
to
yeah.
do.
Okay.
Well, I lived in DC for 2 years. DC's got a really good nightlife.
Not as humid. Ugh,
Yeah,
gross.
that was gross. But no, DC
that'd be
will have
great.
some cool stuff, I'm sure.
Say like a couple months, we'll have another podcast. We'll chat again, and then next year we'll be getting Dr. Erin out after 10 p.m.
My
Yeah.
husband was like, "How are you? What are you doing?"
Well, 10 p.m. East Coast time, so she's still good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, Serv is gonna go out. He's like out in the Pacific, so it's like he's gonna.
4 p.m.
I can
It's
hold my own.
lunchtime.
I'll be all right.
I mean, if residency teaches you anything, it teaches you how to go out late and get up early.
Yeah, I mean,
Work
I'm on
hard, play
pager
hard.
call 24 hours a day for a whole week now, so it's fine.
Oh.
I'm good.
Do you really
I
still
made
have a pager?
No. It's on the thing.
Okay.
But what's funny is like I used to have a physical pager up until like 3 years ago at night. I just kept it because I'm used to that beeping sound waking me up. Like all the text messages on my phone never woke me up. Like I would
Yeah.
sleep through text all the time. Like I can't wake up to a
So
text.
you had a
chime.
pager alarm.
I set a separate pager I was paying for, like just on my nightstand only, just because of noise. But now with that new app they have, like it sounds like a pager on my phone, so that's fine. But before, like it was just I still had the pager and the phone, but it was like that beeping. I had the same ringtone on my pager since residency. Like I kept the same one, so it just What's
I
up?
had PTSD for like 5 years after, where every time like someone's microwave that I didn't know would go off, you'd be like, or like a movie and they like have a beeping sound, you're like, your heart skips a beat, and then
No,
you're
like
like,
my pager had like 20 ringtone things or chime things, and it was like number 8 every time. Like I would pick that one, and like it was in my head.
No, it's traumatic. It's really traumatic. I switched the text tone to a ringtone now, so if I get a text, it has like a 30-second or a minute long blast of noise. So
Yeah, it's obnoxious. It has to be obnoxious to wake me up.
it's gotta be obnoxious.
Did
All
you
right,
see
friends.
that reel I made where it was talking about that, where it's like, I work 3 or 4 days a week now, and after that I'm just like, oh, how could, and I'm like, do you remember that you used to do that? Like, however, 80-hour weeks every week.
Yeah,
you'd be up
100-hour
36
weeks
hours.
even.
And like, how did I do that? I can't even comprehend
The
anymore.
80-hour work week came in when I was a resident. Like for the first 3 years, we didn't have that, and then it came in the middle of my residency. And then they sent me home, and I was doing neurosurgery, and then like that literally the 80-hour thing changed. They're like, oh, now it's only 80 hours all of a sudden, and they're like, we've looked at your hours, and you don't have to come to work for 2 more weeks because I was way over.
Whoa.
I'm like, what, 2 weeks? Like, yeah. I'm like, okay, thanks.
That's amazing.
They were actually enforcing it.
I was coming in
early
like
on.
at 3 something in the morning to do pre-rounds on, the NICU,
yeah.
and then you round with the resident, and you round again with the attending. Like it was just nonstop. Like
That's
in the
how
morning.
neurosurgery was. I remember being like, the scary attending is coming. I told the intern, and she packed up all her stuff and left me, the dentist, with the scary guide around on all the neurosurgery patients. You're like, she did me so dirty. That was fun.
But
Yeah.
it's an invaluable experience, residency is.
There's nerdy Jackie always finding the
I
fun.
loved it. I loved it and I hated it. I love to hate it, but I mean, it was the best 6 years of my life.
Scariest is when you do the nights, because there's like bare bones staff in the hospital, and
Oh,
like
the
there's people
nights.
coding.
That's like,
And you don't even know who these patients are, and they're like coding, and there's like one resident covering the whole hospital, and like it's
Yeah, night
That's a
shift
mess.
is a whole nother beast. That's for sure.
They got people walking around with active tuberculosis now that they have no idea because some of the, I guess, migrants or asylum seekers, for lack of another term.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Refugees.
They have
But
it.
yeah, they find them with active tuberculosis just
Ew.
infecting everyone. Like, oh, incidentally.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got that little thing
You are in
on
New
your
York,
arm.
so you probably see a lot of that.
Here's
Oh.
2 years of antibiotics.
They're like,
You're
no,
welcome.
I
Yeah.
don't have that. They don't even know what it is.
They'll start calling you TB Gallagher.
TB.
Start spreading it around everyone.
That's got a ring to it, like tornado.
Like Typhoid Mary, was that her name?
I swear.
There was something. Well, Halloween's coming up, so you can, have fun with that.
Oh. All right, let's wind it down. We will talk soon.
Well, thank you for
All
right.
hosting
Thank
us,
you.
Brendan.
Appreciate it,
That's
my man.
great.
Thank you all for coming out. No, thank you. You guys have more busy lives than I don't have kids. I'm not married. I take this into account. Thank you all for coming out. This is fun.
Yeah, I'm single. I just have cats.
Yeah, I don't
I
have
have kids.
kids.
I have kids too, but
Kids,
it's really the cats that take up a lot of time. Yeah,
And a fat raccoon.
we'll see.
Serv, you should really think about making this raccoon an Instagram or TikTok page. I mean,
The raccoon.
yeah.
I was thinking about going outside and hanging out with him one day, but I want to wear long pants and like gloves and stuff. I don't want to get scratched.
We'll see if he hisses at you, and then you'll
Mhm.
stop feeding him because that's terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
Or he'll just run in, close the door, and lock you out and be like, hey, man.
I think he wants to run in. Like, I feel like if I left the door open a little bit, he'd bolt inside. That freaks me out. So,
Well, anyways, yeah, thank you guys. This has been super fun.
Yeah.
all right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Good
All right.
night.